r/ForeverAlone. Bad Timing 2211 says, "It's so hard not to be resentful. I'm so sick of being put down when it comes to dating. It's always the same BS from them, like work out, get a good job, be nice and shower. I have a master's and make over 200k in a successful career while being under 30, competed in a D1 sport and still work out and have a social life. I'm so tired of constantly being told I'm not enough or being told to lower my standards when I've literally been rejected by people without jobs who are overweight. I've watched time and time again as friends go after legitimate felons and then complain about it. None of the self-improvement BS works. I'm just so close to cutting off all friends of the opposite gender just because watching what they do vs the advice they give is so hypocritical. At this point I don't even know what I'd gain from dating other than wasting money and having my life made harder than it already is." Edit. Imagine telling someone with a career in sales and relationship management who also has an active social life that their personality is the issue. When do people simply acknowledge that standards are out of control? Dear Communication 919 says, "I have become evil. I want to become Grinch, but instead of Christmas I will steal Valentine's Day." Hearing Commercial 271 says, "Are you ugly?" Anatherguy 783 says, "This is why I tell people the workout and shower advice is stupid. There have been many successful posters who did great in life outside dating and love. They assume everyone lives in a basement and never goes out." Throwaway_Uggy says, "Not a dig towards anyone, but I wonder how is it possible that people claiming that they are far have no issues with having great careers and having a vibrant social life. Feels like every single of them. I mean, I feel that in my case the lack of career/friends/money comes from the same reasons because of which I can't get sex or relationship. I guess that everyone else but me figured out." Maimuna says, "In my experience, a lot of successful people I know who fail at dating usually comes down to their social skills, ability to build attraction/charm the other person, and ability to form a connection. For example, I've seen super extroverted and social guys with a lot of friends fail to get at girls simply because of what they say, how they say it, when they say it, why they are saying, etc. Social skills goes beyond just being good at talking. Without seeing how you interact, it's hard to judge, but this is usually the cause from my experience." Scared Purpose says, "I'm in your shoes, man, in a lot of ways, although I don't make $200k plus/YEAR. I'm a 30-plus-year-old virgin. Luckily, I've always had friends, much like yourself. If you have a close friend who's good with women, maybe ask him to go out with you doing approaches and double dates so he can see what you're doing. My friend had gotten me dates before." r/ForeverAlone. Short Current Russell says, "Being Indian is brutal. I remember thinking before that being Indian was a huge disadvantage in trying to date and relationships. Normally I keep this a secret, and my unhappiness in regards to dating and relationships is something that I keep secret. I remember I disclosed that I think being Indian was probably the cause of this. I was really high and I was just talking. I just kind of said this without realizing that this is something that is supposed to be a secret. He seemed really surprised that I thought this and asked me, 'You think this is because you're Indian?' But he said it in an extremely condescending tone and in a way where it sounded like it was the dumbest thing he's ever heard in his life. Up to this point, the idea that my struggles was caused by me being Indian was speculation. But now, with how often I see those videos where someone asks, 'What race would you not date?' I always see the overwhelming majority respond with Indian with no hesitation. Now I know I was right all along about being Indian is a major contributing factor. This is conflicting though. On one hand, it feels good to finally know for sure with proof, or about as close to it as you can get, that my experiences are real, and that the people who are telling me that I was wrong about being Indian being a gigantic disadvantage were just trying to gaslight me. But on the other hand, I kind of wish I was wrong, and that I was on equal footing with white men. I wish I wasn't at such a disadvantage. I wish this was all in my head, and that I could change everything by just changing the way I look at the world. Not So Courageous says, are you an Indian living in the West, or living in Indy? Lou_minimum says, it sucks when I see this, because the poster's same race counter is never mentioned. And this is especially troubling, when the Indian population is massive. Do Indian women not want you? I would think Indian women would welcome you with open arms. I find them gorgeous. Dark skin with straight hair just gets me, but I've never seen them ranked very highly on anyone's would want to date list, unless they are grouped with Asian. The second a separation is made, their rank drops dramatically. So, who are they dating, if not Indian men? But I will confess that I just get a little insecure when I see posts like this too, because my default cynicism automatically assumes that the poster is interested in interracial dating, but only with certain races. Like, they never say it, but their ideal is probably white or East Asian. They give no thought to any other races, and thus it feels like no one wants them. It's easy to feel that way when the only opinions you care about are from white and pale Asian women. Reasonable_._1831 says, aren't you getting an arranged marriage? Hot Wheels Jack 97 says, just waiting for someone to unironically post, but my friend is a 5'0" bald Indian janitor, and he has a GF, so it can't be that bad every time a post like this is made. Mickery says, I can relate. I'm Filipino and Indian/Southeast Asians are always on the bottom of the totem pole for Western women. This is why I've always resisted moving to mainland America. If I'm far surrounded by this much women of my own race, it will be brutal in the US. Tyrant23 says, I'm Indian too living in the US. PM me if you ever want to talk. r/ForeverAlone. Morbid nihilism says, apparently promiscuity is on maximum levels. Apparently people are having more and more sex. Apparently promiscuity is on maximum historical levels in the Western world. Apparently more women engage in casual sex and are less picky in choosing a man to have sex with. I just ask, where the hell are these women at? The mainstream narratives from Twitter, Instagram or TikTok just doesn't correspond to my experiences in real life. Am I just not in the sight of these less inhibited, more blatantly direct, more extroverted, more sexually open women? Tannen789 says, it's same as with the money. Rich people had record profits during the pandemic but poor people have less than ever. Anathurguy783 says, exactly. I read articles that said 30% of men 18 to 30 are sexless in the past year or are virgins. I read another one that said 60% of guys are single, while 30% of women are. More guys are kicked out of the system as the rich get richer and we get poorer. You can't get mad at it, since there is no point. It's how society is. There are a few winners and a whole lot of losers. I'm talking about sex not being a loser in other areas of life. Most articles that talk about this blame men and say men need to do better. I'm in no position to say whether that's true or not. I can only say I understand why they stay away from me. I also understand I'm not alone. Iknumac says, the desired people out there are having sex. Not us. Budget_shift says, apparently more women engage in casual sex and are less picky in choosing a man to have sex with. I just ask, where the hell are these women at? The mainstream narratives from Twitter, Instagram or TikTok just doesn't correspond to my experiences in real life. Am I just not in sight of these less inhibited, more blatantly direct, more extroverted, more sexually open women? And might be breaking rule 4 here, but it's a super easy explanation. They are having sex with a small percent of men. Not 20%, like 5% of men. Less men than ever are having sex nowadays. Like most dudes I know rarely get laid unless they got extremely lucky in college or locked a girl down before she realized her value. Those women are out there, and there's a ton of them, but they aren't for us. If you are a below average man between 18 to 25 right now, you are what is called a janitor, which is tasked with dealing with all the baggage after they are done doing whatever in the future. But just keep in mind, they will never find you attractive, never fantasize about you, and are purely with you for practical reasons. You will never experience what those men experienced for free while they were young. r/ForeverAlone. Enba Binera Coda says, anyone just give up on finding relationships or sex and just focus on work and hobbies? I know it's a sad life, but probably ain't going to have to give up on finding a girlfriend or ever getting laid. I'm 35 and never been in a relationship, been a hickey/neat most of my life. I'm basically a dickless man with such a small micropenis that I can't have sex. Coupled with the fact that I'm only 5'6", balding and barely average looks, it's over before it even began for me. To those who accepted their fate and just moved on in life, how do you cope? Does work and hobbies distract you enough whereby your life is at least manageable? Any tips and suggestions? Rodriguez says, yup. I simply do my college work and play MLB The Show. It does suck knowing I'll never find love, but at least I can do whatever I want on my own terms. And not have to worry about cheating, drama, divorce, etc. /Angel2 says, today love is just transactional, not different from prostitution. I have plenty of health and money problems, so I decided to cut every distraction, and relationships are one of the biggest. Now I live a very lonely, minimalistic, and frugal life, but I'm much more in peace with myself. Adventurous_trust689 says, give up. I never even started. Blue Soda says, I'm a very lonely guy, have been since I was young. I never really had many friends. The friends I did have seem like they're getting partners, buying houses and moving in. I'm almost 31 years old, living with my mum. No one really knows how I feel. I hide it very well. I have too much pride to admit this to anyone I know. Some could argue I have a lucrative job in tech, but I don't feel that way personally, although I do have a lot of knowledge in the field and get respect from my colleagues. The advice I'll give to people is very controversial. Life is cutthroat. To get what you want, you need to be cunning, manipulative, lie and cheat, and it's the same with relationships. Women are not being straight up, and the game is frick ed up, so you need to be frick ed up to. As the years go on, I care less and less about being the good guy. Sometimes I feel like getting the relationship is more importantly than actually being in one, like proving to myself I can. So I've decided to become a horrible human and do whatever I can to achieve that goal. I will like and manipulate to get what I want. Resident_setting3884 says, as a 42 years old far who is like you and am average height, I work 90 hours a week driving a cab, which keeps me out of trouble, but also makes my life a living hell. Yes, I have to do that many hours in order to pay bills that keep going up every, and am not smart enough to figure out how to get a better job or how to get some side income from the internet, etc. So my suffering goes on. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.